gobble, motherfucker.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Estrogen levels peaking. It's like she's in heat.
When are you gonna grow up, man? Chicks love cars. If you want to get into their pants, you better have a nice, hot Ferrari.
She's my hot Ferrari. Besides, I love my Mustang, which is a plug-in hybrid. It gets 100 mpg.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Out of my eyes!
Welcome to episode 40 of Schlock Talk, doing our Halloween episode in December because I'm a gigantic fag since 2013.
Wait, you've only been a gigantic fag since 2013?
Pretty much. That's when I started hanging out with you guys. I'm Gabe.
I'm Craig.
Joel.
Paul. Tonight's episode is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch from 1982, directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. And available on Blu-ray from Shout Factory.
What witches were in this movie?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good question.
I think they meant to spell witch W-H-I-C-H. Season of the Witch. Where are we going with this?
So I need to apologize, dear listeners, for being so late.
You had nothing to do with this film.
For being so late with this episode of Schlock Talk. But I have recently begun developing a self-help alter ego, Philemon Findlay, and have been starting to hone my philosophy, taking part in the 37 F's to success, and practicing them as much as possible in real life.
Okay, brace yourselves, guys. He said 37.
There are 37. Sure,
Fuck
the
Paul,
F's.
fuck Joel, fuck Craig.
Fuck my
Fuck
wife.
this podcast.
Sure, the
Fuck
F's
our
in,
listeners.
The F's in which I've been
Listener.
engaging over the last several weeks have been fantasy football, finger blasting, fine females, and Fallout 4. But it certainly doesn't hurt to start big, and there'll be plenty of time to move on to the more esoteric secret F's of life, like fistfighting, falconry, slim-flamming Finlanders,
Fisting.
and faggotism.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you fucking fag.
For the plebes out there, that last one is playing the bassoon, not buggery. Not buggery. And also, for shame, you bigoted assholes.
He didn't mention fisting farm animals. I'm pretty
He's
sure
getting
that was
there.
That's not conducive to success. That's why.
That
So I
slows
don't
him down.
I don't wanna-
Fondling fat chicks? I'm sorry,
that isn't there.
fondling fat floozies.
Well, I don't want to give away too much in anticipation of the publication and release of my forthcoming, no doubt, best-selling book, F You, just in time for the holiday 2016 season.
Nothing
I
said.
will,
Guys,
I
I'm
will
really-
reveal here that the Findlay pinnacle of success is to pass on into the afterlife by dying in a cheese-related fire.
Oh man, guys, I'm really concerned this is going to involve flatulism at some point.
No, that is not conducive to success. Paul, I know you can definitely get on board with dying in a cheese-related fire. It's the only way to go.
I want to die by a robot.
Okay.
That's how I want to go. I want to be like the first
Yeah.
casualty in the
Robot
robot-human war.
That's going to be the first incident scene where the people that investigate it are just going to just put in their papers for resignation. Yep, I've seen it all. There's nothing else I can fucking do.
That robot fucked him to death.
Yes.
the anal pulverizer.
So this movie's episode, it's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and it's secretly been the best entry in the series because, and not due to there being, no damn Michael Meyers in it. Since it premiered and then unjustifiably crashed and burned at the box office in 1982. I mean, despite having seen this movie at least 7 times in my life, it was not until covering it for the podcast that I caught on to the part of the plotline that talked about Silver Shamrock Novelties originally being the world's leading prank-producing corporation, and which makes the end game of more or less killing every child in America with Stonehenge magic somehow even more nonsensical than my previously less observant self had originally thought. Of course, this also means that Halloween 3 also documents one company bent on world domination for what is implied would have been at least 1,000 years, and it took until the late 70s or early 80s to realize that it would not be possible if they just continue with the original plan of manufacturing fake doggy duty plastic vomit and fake, wet-sounding whoopee cushion farts.
And I believe one of the items was sticky toilet paper.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that was the real winner.
He's a genius.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
They do say that. It's crazy.
The fine line between genius and insanity is crossed often in this world.
So Halloween 3 opens up with a credit sequence designed to give the audience seizures.
I almost had
What
one.
was the concept behind this film? It's like, hey, the first two Halloweens were so successful.
Yeah.
Let's
Completely rehash the entire thing.
let's
start
just
the whole thing over.
Yep.
Something
Let's
completely
ruin
different.
it.
Yeah, they seriously did a whole American Horror Story thing with this fucking franchise.
It would be like, hey, let's take Friday the 13th. Okay, the third one, let's do a rom-com.
Yeah.
Let's get Jason to move in with like a couple of co-eds.
We'll have Meg Ryan in there.
Yeah, he's super introverted. He has a hard time talking to people without stabbing them in the throat. And really, it defines the whole American college experience.
I think Back to the Future 3 should be a documentary on Tomorrowland at Disney World. It will work out pretty fine.
So the movie starts out and there's a man at night with a baseball cap on, and he's seen running away from some evil guys in a sedan.
A slow-moving sedan.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not really pursuing
This
him
guy
too
is
far.
really bad at hiding, I'd like to say. When you're running away from a car, don't run in the middle of the highway.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like he took his fleeing strategy straight off the script of Prometheus, in the sense that he can't run in lateral directions.
And when he's hiding from the cars, it drives by the junkyard that he kind of pulls into. He just ducks down a little bit on a staircase above anything that would obstruct the view of the guys who are chasing.
Under a light.
There's all these stacked,
Under a light.
all these stacked derelict cars. I might as well hide in plain sight.
So yeah, he runs into a scrapyard. There's nobody there to help him, and one of the bad guys pins him to the ground. But he pulls a chain on a parking block, and this crushes the guy.
No,
Yeah,
this
cars.
taps the guy. First of all, there's no incline. The car shouldn't even move. Like somebody was pushing the car at a full 0.0 mile an hour, and it taps the guy on the shoulder, and he's got glass shoulder or something. He just passes out.
I thought it was kind of gruesome. It's not gory or anything, but
just
it's kind
gets
of
squished.
crunched. It's crunched between these two El Caminos.
Yeah, and then what's the brilliance behind pulling the parking thing out of the way and having the car roll towards you while you're pinned to the fucking ground? How is that going to normally end well? Well, apparently it did, but only because movie magic made it stupid.
So at a gas station, an hour later, there's a guy watching a news report about a missing stone from
I'm sorry,
Stonehenge.
there's a chin with a human attached to it watching
Whoa,
a
is
TV
that
show.
seriously? That's on the TV?
What's that?
We were that Stonehenge?
Yeah, they mentioned
Yeah,
in there
that's-
that
that-
Stonehenge, that one of the stones from Stonehenge has gone.
Oh, I didn't
missing.
even know
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah,
I
Okay,
remember,
we were busy
I remember
talking.
seeing something about the Stonehenge, but we didn't really listen to it because blah, blah, blah.
We were too busy riffing.
But,
It seemed like the only thing on TV was that fucking Shamrock ad.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
my
I
God.
said here, I said there's also an ad for the Silver Shamrock Halloween masks. Get used to this.
It's so
It's a
fucking
theme.
irritating.
8 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 8 more days till Halloween. Fuck my life now.
Kill your parents.
Apparently, this guy was the richest guy in America who owned this company until he bought so much fucking advertising time for this annoying commercial, it almost bankrupted him.
He's pitching his wild idea. Okay, look at it. Super Bowl,
No,
1983, the halftime show, all silver shamrock masks. They get on stage, one of them rips the bra off another one. Fucking dynamite.
Anytime a TV is on in this movie, which is quite often,
That
there's
Silver
either
Shamrock.
scenes from the Halloween movie or this ad.
And oh my god, does this ad it's like a brain worm that you just want to fry out of your
Should I do it again?
8 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Kill me now!
I'm sorry.
So the guy running from the goons earlier, he comes into a service station and he just says to the guy, "They're coming," and then he collapses.
Yeah, they're gonna kill everyone.
And so Dr. Dan Chalice, who's our protagonist,
It's our Charles
hero.
Bronson looking guy.
Yeah. Who's the actor?
Dan Chalice, because Charlie Wineglass wasn't
He looked
available.
to me like
Mustache
the,
face.
Oh my
man.
god, that
he
was
looked
the
to me
worst
like
joke.
He looked to me like the hero from Rotor, and that's just
A
like
little bit with a
cold
mustache.
steel.
Yeah, maybe just the mustache caused it. You know, that's
Crap.
just
But
one of those
the
things.
guy's been in
Joel kind of looks like him now too, so I guess that's
Yes.
fair with his mustache.
Yeah, Joel looks like.
But the main difference is that when I'm groping women, I am not a licensed doctor.
So
You look like you're ready to like put on a pair of aviators and throw Craig over the hood of a cop car.
I'm seriously gonna book all of you.
You look like a homosexual commando.
I loved you in The Village,
I'm
people.
like Freddie Mercury, who's got a real hard boner for justice.
So it's Tom Atkins. Tom Atkins plays Dan. And he's in quite a few good movies. He's in
The Fog,
He's
right?
in The Fog. He's in Night of the Creeps.
Oh, that's right.
So he's been in some good movies, and I believe that he's actually still alive. I thought I saw him recently. Yeah, this dude's 80 now.
Can we rectify that?
Can we rectify that? We just watched Halloween 3, fucker.
Yeah, he's in
Your
this-
life is over.
He's in Lethal Weapon, Escape from New York, The Fog, and obviously Night of the Creeps, which is a great movie. Maniac,
So this is like
Maniac Cop.
John Carpenter's. This guy is to John Carpenter is what Bill Murray is to friggin' Wes Anderson or something.
Yes, he is. He was on a few episodes of The Fall Guy, which was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. He was on T.J. Hooker.
That's
Wow.
that prostitute show, right?
That's the cop show with
I know.
Shatner.
Captain
Shatner.
Kirk. Yeah. So Dr. Dan, he arrives at his cunty ex-wife's house to see that his kids already have silver
See, this
shamrock masks.
totally changes the movie for me because when we were watching it, we just assumed that they were still married and she was just a total
Oh,
bitch.
no.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
She was just totally she's got her sweater around her shoulders like tied off and everything that makes her look as prudish as fuckingly possible.
Yeah, and so Dan gets a page on his beeper, which I thought was pretty funny, from the hospital where the guy that collapsed at the service station is now at, and he freaks out at the Silver Shamrock ad on TV, and so Dan like sedates him.
Which we had to watch again, and we all wanted to be sedated as well.
8 more.
So a little bit later, one of the goons, who's kind of a dead ringer. I said a dead ringer for Pat. I'm assuming that means Pat from It's Pat.
No,
From Saturday Night
Doesn't
Live?
look at all like
not
that
at
person.
all.
Okay, well I didn't type up my
Androgynous?
notes.
He's just some G-man looking dude.
Okay,
Just some generic
He
dude.
looks like the guy from House of the Dead. This is G. Hi, G.
Yeah.
We have zombies to kill. Let's kill the zombies. Do you have my Gatorade? Yes.
You know what? I was just talking about typing of the dead with my wife this morning because she was talking about how distracting it is when you go to the doctor now and they've got like a keypad and they're like typing up your notes and they're like don't talk to you. And she's like, pretty soon somebody's just going to come in with some sort of backpack that has a keyboard in front of them. And I was like, you mean like typing of the dead, right?
the weirdest game premise ever.
So one of the goons comes into the hospital and stalks into the mask guy's room while Dan is asleep in the doctor's lounge, and he sort of gouges the mask guy's eyes out while breaking his face.
Yeah,
He like reaches in the eye socket and pulls the guy's skull out.
hooks
Yeah.
like his finger between like his nasal cavity and the other eye socket and pulls up.
I'm not sure that would kill you. It'd
He
be
just
really painful.
fucked
To...
really
up
ruined your
rhinoplasty
day.
is what I'm thinking has happened there. It just kind of crushes.
It's
his
pretty
nose
good
up.
gore. I thought it was pretty
Yeah.
good.
And then he dies, and then and he's so inconspicuous when he leaves the hospital that he stares the nurse in the face while she's looking over the scene and just kind of walks off.
Yeah.
And then he wipes his hands on the curtains.
Yeah, and you
missed
gotta
that.
kind of wonder why he had that hygiene fetish, considering in the end he just lights himself on fire.
Yes, he does. So the guy screams as he's being killed, and Dan runs out. But the goon like goes out to his car and douses himself in gasoline and just blows the whole thing up.
He didn't like the fact that
Which-
they were occupying Tibet.
And this leads to like a subplot in the movie. It's like a mystery. They're trying to like sift through all the wreckage of the car, and he's got like the doctor goes and visits the coroner, and he's like, "Oh, you got any details you can get me?" And the whole time, it's like this is on the back burner.
Yeah.
But we'll see how. Yeah, it's just a.
Does it go anywhere?
No.
Not really.
So Dan calls up his cunty ex-wife again and explains what's going on, but she won't listen to him because he won't take the kids that night.
See, when we didn't realize it was the ex-wife,
No, he lied
our thought
to
on
her.
This one was like, oh, this is probably the same excuse he gave for not coming.
Oh
home
no,
last night.
this is when Fireman Joe's in the room, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
With his hat,
He's
that
just
has, like,
wearing a fucking firefighting hat with like a piece, like a,
He's
fucking,
got, like, his-
a shopping receipt with the letter F's fucking scribbled
it
on
looked like
it
one
on
of those
top.
bike reflector things that he had stuck up on there. It was wiggling the whole time. And his like head is
He's
bobbing.
got like
his
his
thing is wiggling
suspenders
around.
like off to the side, like hanging down, like he's just ready for action. He's like, let me get my hose out, put out the fire.
Keeps going down the hospital's fire pole.
We don't have a fire pole.
They have a lot of hallways.
So the next day, a woman comes to the hospital to ID her dad, who's the dead masked guy who got his face ripped out. And a few days later at the coroners, Dan tries to convince his ex-girlfriend, who's quite a lot less cunty than his ex-wife, to do a little checking on the two dead guys. And this is what you're talking about with the coroner, like looking at all the stuff. And so later at the bar, Dan runs into the daughter of the guy, Ellie, who's
she tracks him down.
the heroine, kind of. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he tells her about him clutching the mask. I had forgotten to mention he was like holding on to one of
The pumpkin mask.
the pumpkin masks.
There's a pumpkin, there's a witch, and there's a skull.
Yes.
That's
And
all they make.
the skull is like a really cool mask, but everybody fucking picks the pumpkin mask, which fucking sucks.
And
You
no
wanna
matter what
mention that?
costume
I think
you're
we
wearing,
needed to be reminded that this movie's called Halloween.
Yeah.
Yes. And he tells her that her dad was clutching the mask and acting strangely, so she takes him to her dad's store where he has the silver shamrock mask. He has like a display on sale.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
guy like runs a hardware store that sells rakes and fucking Halloween masks.
it looks like seriously, this is rundown dump of a store.
And it's
that
funny
sells
because
anything.
they have like the placard open close, but they've also put tape on the window to say close until further notice, and
Yes.
the shittiest masking tape writing possible.
Well, it was a hardware store, so they had to work with what they had available.
Yeah. And so she convinces Dan to go with her to Santa Mira, where the masks are being manufactured. And I'm guessing by his six-pack of Miller High Life that he plans on getting him some poon.
Well, yeah,
So ridiculous.
she like goes through. Apparently, her dad is like anal retentive and writes down everything he does in like a little binder that he keeps right next to the register.
Had another mushy bowel movement today. This one talked to me right before I flushed it down.
He didn't show up till the 20th.
7:15 ate my bran. My
Oh my god. So in real life,
oh god.
he is 24 years older than her. So good on him. Good on him.
What was he, like 20 when they filmed this?
So he 35. He was 48 years old and she was 24 when this movie was made. But still, good on him. Good on him. So they go to Santa Mira, where the masks are made, and also we learned that Santa Mira is an Irish town run by the Silver Shamrock.
That's right, hence
Novelty
the
company.
Irish name of the town.
Yeah, Santa Mira.
And the guy at like the hotel they stay at, and he's got this lame ass Irish accent.
The guy seriously looked like an old Irish mobster, like incompetent, cute, adorable Irish mobster, like family sitcom.
Well, we're coming out here to have us a good old time in Santa Mira. Where,
Now, you kids wouldn't be starting no trouble and asking a whole lot of pesky questions now, would you?
Yeah, I said Dan and Ellie get a room. at
Reach
the
your
motel.
hand in my pocket and grab me Blarney stones.
There's some shamrocks in there for you, my good girl.
They get a room at the motel where the proprietor sounds
you like
just
a
like
bowl of
Lucky
Lucky
from
Charms?
the cereal commercials.
I think the worst hotel guests ever. who
Oh
come
yeah,
there.
we'll get to them.
Worst ever.
This is the motleyest crew of motel residents of all time. And so Dan sneaks into the office to see who else is listed in the registry. And when he comes back out, he's almost hit by a Winnebago driven by Buddy Kupfer and family and their kid flips off his mom.
Well, he's riding away on the bike that the car almost threw at the doctor. And
Their mom's limbering up to change oil from the fucking jumpsuit that she's wearing.
Yeah,
she's
she's
got
like
a
the most
weird
interesting
costume.
character in the film.
She's got some interesting costumes she goes through. She starts with a jumpsuit. It changes a bit from there.
She's like, hi, want to fuck?
Yeah, she looks like she's always ready to have sex at any given moment.
I don't remember that at all. I watched this like a week ago.
Oh my
I did
god,
all my notes.
she's like a cat in heat.
Yeah.
She keeps pissing on everything. Did you pick up my scent?
So Dan lets Ellie know that her dad stayed at the motel the week before, and then he bangs her.
Yeah, there was a lot of lead up to this.
Very
I love how he like fucks her first, and then he's like, "Oh my god, how old are you?"
Yeah, and then he is super like in real life sucking on her titty. He like cups it, and it's like he's
That was in his
making
contract.
slurping noises.
He's like, I'll take a $10,000 pay cut if I
was the
can
only
really
reason.
get some of that.
That was the only reason he was in the movie.
He was 24 years old when her titty and the rest of her popped out of her mom's cooch. He was already a post-college age man.
Yeah, he was already having sex with like 13-year-olds by that time.
So that's
That's like some Jared the Subway shit.
Yes, it is.
5 terabytes.
So at the mask factory, the loudspeakers let everyone know it's 6 o'clock and it's time for the curfew for the whole town. And that night, Dan is wandering around and he gives a bum a drink and asks about the Silver Shamrock guy who's Cochran.
And this really confused
Cockring?
me.
Cochran.
Okay.
Because, first of all, the bum's like, don't say anything. They've got cameras everywhere.
Oh,
They're listening right now. In
he's
fact,
like-
fuck you, Cochran! Fuck you!
Is that wine you have there?
Don't say anything, though.
I didn't mean to scare you by lurking in the
No,
shadows
really.
and reaching out just when you walk
the
by.
cameras everywhere. They're listening to us. That's why I'm not going to tell you. But all the things that happen there. Oh, but they're listening. Fuck you, Cochran.
They make you work an 8.5 hour instead of an 8-hour day.
Unpaid overtime.
They wouldn't hire me. They wouldn't hire me. I don't know. I don't understand. I'm a local. I went in there. I asked for a job, and they just flatly turned me down.
It wasn't because I was, say, an alcoholic and practically homeless living out of the back of a junkyard.
And I might have.
Let me pause to flip off the camera.
And then I
But
might.
please don't do anything to arouse their attention because we're being filmed.
They're just not the type of business who'll hire a man with a criminal history of pedophilia.
That's why you can't get in there, Doc. Sorry.
It's like we're brothers.
Oh my god. So the lady who plays Ellie, Stacey Nelkin, has a recent photograph on her IMDb page of her in a bubble bath drinking wine.
Wow.
Sweet.
And we still don't get to see her tits.
Ah, such a
Oh,
pain.
this is the minor that he violated?
This is the lady who
Now
was
she's
half
violating
his age.
minors.
The lady who was literally half his age.
She's like, well, I was touched in that Halloween 3 movie.
Spiral downhill from there.
so
I got the darkness in me now.
So the crazy hobo tells Dan.
But when we were having sex, he asked me to call him Grandpa.
Yes. It's the only way he can ejaculate. So the old hobo, he tells Dan there are rumors about weird stuff going on at the factory. And then he tells him he's going to go burn the place down. And so back at his junkyard home, the bum has his head ripped off by 2 of Cochran's goons.
Yeah, right after he's like putting cheese whiz on what looks like probably an expired hot dog.
We're like, what is he eating?
And
Shaving
for a moment,
cream?
he had this look in his like eye where it's like, not the cheese whiz.
And you wonder why Cochran didn't
Do what
hire
you
this
want to
guy.
me.
And these guys look like they're about to like Eiffel Tower him.
He fucking puts his head down, and it looked like he was about to get a fucking be forced to give
Oh,
him
like,
a
are they
blowjob.
gonna high five?
No, this is where the bum is giving them head, but literally in this case because they just rip it the fuck off.
You
So this
won't
would be
get
a
it, we'll
robo
just-
spit roast.
That'll be the next movie we're schlocking. Robo Spit Roast.
Yes.
That
Sorry,
sounds
Joel, I interrupted you.
No, it's good. My joke's over. It was fine.
So that night, Dan is wandering around. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped at the motel. Back at the motel, a lady in town buying masks, Marge Gutman, says she's been having a hard time dealing with the Silver Shamrock folks. And Dan and
Okay, Marge Gutman. Naming her that, is that kind of like Jet Porkins from Star Wars? Is there a little jab there?
And so Dan,
She's like, when she shows up, she just walks out of her station wagon and just starts going off.
Well, she almost
as she walks
literally
by.
like hits the guy with her car practically, and then
No, she didn't.
And then
hit
she
anybody
gets
with
out
a car.
ranting like he knows what the fuck she's talking
had to
about.
jump out of the way.
No. That was
the
the
Winnebago.
other one.
That
The
was-
Winnebago
This is
almost
the
hits
single
him.
lady
This one
who
pulls
drives
like
up.
right in front of him.
No, she pulls up in front of the girl, and then
Okay.
she gets out and she's like, I can't believe I came to this place. I hate this place. Blah 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 blah.
Can't buy any
and she
masks.
just walks by, and it's like, okay, period is gonna pass the time for
I'm pretty sure she works at UPS.
She's still a little bitter about not being able to have babies.
and so Dan,
Well, I thought she was pregnant. Marge
Dan-
Gutman.
Dan calls his girlfriend back at the coroner's office. Her name is Teddy. And she says they've been trying to perform an autopsy on what they believed was the burned guy, but is probably plaster and metal from the car. Plastic and metal from the car.
Hey, do an autopsy on this car. We're trying to find the cause of death.
Oh, I apologize. I mixed up my sex scene times. I said that right after this, Dan spends a good deal of time sucking on Ellie's left titty.
Yeah, and they have to have sex again because he's such a hot
Dude.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She wakes him up in the middle of the night for some more.
I'd really like to thank the filmmakers for them showing us his ass.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We got to do something for the ladies, the 24-year-old ladies who are into that sort of thing.
It's a fetish.
There aren't any.
So
I've been trying
elsewhere,
to find it for years.
I have a feeling this woman was paid to do her job.
elsewhere in the motel, which while Dan hears the Silver Shamrock commercial again, the sales lady from earlier finds one of the microchips on the floor of her room and fiddles with it, causing it to fire a laser into her mouth. And the most horrible bug I've ever seen crawls out.
Yeah, like,
After her
she
face
was
like peels back at the lips.
Yeah, it's
she was all
relatively
curled up with,
horrifying.
Yeah.
as Craig pointed out earlier, she's all curled up in her blankets with a bottle of lube and Pride and Prejudice. It looked like.
And Dan gets out of bed, and we see his butt as a bunch of Silver Shamrock automatons put her into an ambulance. And Mr. Cochran shows up and explains that she'll be taken to the factory where they have a lovely facility for treatment.
Most unconvincing speech ever.
This guy is a
And they
fucking-
don't even like sugarcoat it or anything. They're like, "Oh, it was a misfire."
Well, he overhears them. He's like kind of mumbling, and Dan kind of is eavesdropping in.
And, okay, so what shows up is
You
not
paid
like a
way more attention to this
paramedic.
film than I did.
It's like 12 guys in doctors' uniforms who
Yes.
show up at the
Yeah,
door.
like I think what
They
woke
look
him.
like
Why they need-
pharmacists.
I don't know why they need 12 of them in the first place.
Yeah,
But they
'cause-
take her away in the super secret Shamrock mobiles that they
The super secret with the big shamrock
Shamrock thing
decal
on
on
the
every
back.
car.
that they use consistently.
No, because it wasn't like the laser going off is what woke him up. What woke him up probably was the sound of like all these multiple Jerry Lewis voices of all the eggheads getting out of the ambulance to go load up Marge.
Hey, lady!
Nice lady.
And so the next day, Dan calls his friend back at the morgue and asks her to look into Connell Cochran. And she implies he's going to have to flick the end of his tongue on her clitoris to pay her for her help.
I don't remember that part.
It's implied. It's implied.
What
No,
did she say?
she kind of says something like, well, you're going to owe me big time after this one.
It means he's
fella."
going ass to mouth.
Yes. And so Dan and Ellie go to the factory where Mr. Kupfer is congratulated as being the best mask salesman in the country.
Yeah, what's up with this fucker's family? It's like his wife is a Mary Poppins fan, and so she's wearing that thing she did, or wearing that thing she had when they went to the Dancing Penguin show with Dick Van Dyke. And his son looks like he's wearing his pajamas. They're
I
just
know
fucking-
she goes from like a mechanic's jumpsuit to that.
No, yeah, that's the same guy, right? Okay, yeah. So mechanic's jumpsuit. Then she's wearing Mary Poppins' frilly whatever, and then later on she's like in some '60s garb.
Yeah, it is
she
very
has some
weird.
interesting attire. And then the guy is like, you could not believe he would be a good salesman in anything ever. I mean, he just doesn't have any. He's frumpy looking, and he's like an obvious, just kind of idiot character for it.
Yeah, it's like he's good at getting his foot in the door, but only to kill innocent families and wear their skin.
They are a very annoying family and maybe a little Jewy. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. And so they give the whole group, everybody, a tour, and Mr. Cochran shows the group around, and the little Kupfer kid runs around and gets into everything like a shitty little faggot.
A little fucking shitler. Little shitler.
It was a pretty boring tour, though. This is where they pour the resin into the molds.
And here
they cool it.
Here's where they pull it
that's
out.
the tour.
This is where we take the mold of my cock for the dildos.
and then they tell him, "Oh, we can't go to the finishing facility because we pour toxic chemicals that might kill you onto the masks to test them."
And so
Notice the steady hand as they paint the pulsing vein on my staff.
I was really hoping to get more of a reaction to my shitty little faggot reference.
He throws on a fucking Halloween or the pumpkin mask. It doesn't seem like it has eye holes, so he's just running around fucking blind in the factory. Would have been nice if they could have had him running into shit.
Oh, we can't have you use that mask. It's not the finished one. And so the old geezer guy takes a mask and just pushes it down on the kid's head.
Yes.
Boy, I'd really like to see what happens to make those masks finished. Angus Scrim, can you tell me your secrets? Because it looks like the fucking finished mask.
I'm surprised you haven't called him. He's the head CEO of the corporation in
RoboCop. That's where he's from. That's where.
All right.
From.
Yeah.
You're fired.
Yes, not Dick,
Yeah.
Dick, the other guy, the actual boss.
Right.
And so Dan sees one of the weird robot guys and realizes that he looks just like the guy who killed Ellie's dad. And Ellie realizes that her dad's car is at the factory.
Have we revealed that they're robots yet?
No.
I'm sorry, guys. Spoiler
We
alert.
gotta start the podcast over!
Oh, Dave ruined everything. He ruined the turnout at the end.
Rewind!
Joel looks really pissed right now.
I don't want to start the podcast over, guys. Maybe we can just movie magic this shit and cut that crap out.
Guys,
I think we've got to rewatch the
I
movie.
think we understand why they can't find any human remains in the car.
Fuck, I'm going to have to say that this is going to take all night. I forgot to bring my sleeping bag.
It's alright, Craig will keep you warm.
I know. I'm going to be the outer spoon this time. And so
You always tickle my butt when that happens.
Ellie realizes that her dad's car is at the factory, but when she tries to get a closer look, she gets cut off by the robots, right?
Yes, the goon squad.
Oh, I call them the
Go
ginger
shoulder to
bots
shoulder.
because they're supposed to be Irish. And that night, Dan tries to call the Marines, but can't get through, presumably.
Yeah, that's who you fucking call when
I'm
shady
gonna call the
shit's going
Marines.
down. We're gonna
Excuse
call the
me,
Marines.
Marines, yes. We have a bit of a problem over here where they're making people out of robot
No,
parts.
I don't want
really-
to give you a toy for your toy drive.
I'm really sorry to hear that, sir, but I don't think you realize how the standard common industrial military complex works.
Give you 20? No, you don't understand.
So he can't get through, presumably due to nefarious robot Irishmen. And he also realizes that Ellie is missing. And we see she's been captured and taken to the factory. And Dan manages to sneak back into the Silver Shamrock Company, and with the power of stealth and his glorious mustache. But he doesn't realize that he's also being captured.
These robots are really shitty at looking for people.
They are.
And he tries to intimidate an old lady knitting.
Yes.
Where did they take Ellie, old lady? Where is she? Grabs her head and it pops off because he's a dick.
Yeah, he finds an old woman who's just like sitting in a corner of the factory knitting.
Dude, he just shakes her shoulders and her head just rolls off.
Yes.
And you see
turns
little
out to be-
robo gears in there, and that's where the reveal is made.
Yeah, so it's actually, she's a clockwork mannequin. And then he beats up one of the robots, who it turns out is full of the same orange apricot baby food.
He walks into this room, and he shakes the woman, her head rolls to the floor, and then out of the darkness, like we don't see the wall, out of the darkness, this guy just comes behind him and pulls him backwards.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're in a huge warehouse, and he throws them into a box.
Yeah.
Like it was the same room.
And
It was weird.
Other things we don't understand. Why is it the day before Halloween they're manufacturing Halloween masks? Where
Yes,
the fuck
that
are
was
they
something that I
shipping
thought
these
of. They're
to?
like still packing boxes full
Plot
of Halloween
hole.
masks. Like the plan that will be revealed in just a few minutes. There's not going to be a second incident of that.
No one's gonna.
You're not going to
I
continue.
should buy some more.
Well, they
Silver
even
Shamrock
allude
masks.
to the fact that there's not going to be one because the
obnoxious wife lady.
well, the salesman guy's like, they won't take my order for next year.
Maybe
But
they
they're
won't
continuing
have a
to
Halloween
manufacture
next year.
and box them up.
Just because.
And so,
He's
so
trying to get
at
out
one
next
point
year.
though, he beats up and kills like one of these robot guys.
He punches it.
He punches him in the dick.
punches it in the dick.
Yeah.
And then yellow ejaculate is all over his arm.
No, so it's the same orange apricot baby food that the little Jawa midgets from Phantasm are full of.
Oh, you're right.
It's weird. It's like the same in Phantasm.
Phantasm came first, right?
Yeah, 77 or 8 or 9, something like that. They're full of this weird orange blood, and it looks the same. Anyway.
Yeah, so he like pulls his hand out of the guy's underwear, and he's just got like a handful of that and some wires.
Yeah.
Yes. And so Dan, despite this, Dan is captured by Cochran and his men, and then taken to the secret part of the factory. And at one point, Dan asks what everything is, and Cochran says, "A good magician never gives away his secrets," before explaining every detail of his plan.
What a plan it is, people.
No,
What a plan it is.
Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
They steal a Stonehenge stone and they carve runes on it for a pagan ritual from 3,000 years ago to honor some slaughter lord.
I gotta say
that's what I get out of it.
It's a pretty big part of the film. Oh, we took a stone from Stonehenge.
Yes.
Yeah, you won't believe what we did to get it here. He was something, but that's another
Something
story.
we didn't have the budget to show.
That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother prequel.
And so Cochran tells Dan
It's called
that
Despicable Me.
they stole one of the pieces of Stonehenge, which has a deadly power. And he explains he has a demonstration for Dan where he sees the cup first shown to test room A. And on the TV, the ugly little kid sees the Silver Shamrock ad on TV and puts his mask on.
Put on your masks, kids. It's almost time.
And the mask sort of melts the kid's head.
Yeah.
And he collapses on the floor before snakes and bugs come out of his mouth. And these attack and kill the parents.
You know, it would be really convenient if you were a fisherman to have one of those masks.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I'm out of bait. Put this on, Johnny.
Someone play the Silver Shamrock commercial for it.
All right. Look at all these night crawlers and crickets.
Wait, you're committing suicide because they're hearing the theme song again.
So when this happens, this makes Dan angry. And it's so weird because it's like such an oddly specific thing. He's just mad that he's like killing people. He's not like, what the actual fuck?
He literally clenches both fists and brings them up to his head and shakes them.
Yeah.
In that scene. And I'm like, really?
We're still, the rest of us are still going.
He's just all like, "Con!"
The rest of us are just staring at disbelief. Is this a plot point really in the movie? What the fuck?
And so all over the country, kids are seen putting on their Silver Shamrock masks to go trick-or-treating. And vans are driving around, telling the kids to be sure to go home for the special TV announcement at 9 o'clock.
And everywhere they show this group of kids, they're like in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's always like...
Yeah, Phoenix, Arizona, they're like outside the city limits climbing on fucking rocks.
They just came from the reservation where they get their peyote candy.
Oh, the rattlesnakes give out full-size Hershey bars. Let's go up to the rock formations.
It's so...
The cliffside.
And then you see kids like wearing ballerina costumes with a pumpkin head attached. For
Yeah, skateboarding ballerina with pumpkin mask.
And getting back to the villain, like spilling out the entire exposition.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing to the hero. I thought about it. I'm like, he's fucking bored shitless because he's got all these robots around him that can't talk.
I have not been able to program the best kind of hand job that I'm looking for in these fucking machines.
He's like, I wanted to talk to that salesman guy, but he's a fucking tool. You're a doctor. I will bend your ear a bit before killing you.
And so at the morgue, Dan's friend Teddy, his friend with benefits, is looking over some of the gears and puts down from the car, gears and parts from the car fire. Just as she tries to call the sheriff, one of the Silver Shambots drills her in the head.
This is the most ridiculous scene. She's looking at like what looks like parts of a can opener.
Yeah.
And suddenly she has an epiphany of some sort, and she's like,
Soylent Green is made of
sheriff's
people.
office, please, instead of calling 911 directly or whatever the fuck you normally do.
She's like, oh my god, it's a corkscrew, sheriff.
Obviously, the person who died in the car fire was a robot made out of springs and shit. Let's go ahead and call the police.
Grandpa's pocket watch. Hello, police?
It makes no fucking sense.
And so, back at the Silver Shamrock Company, Cochran explains to Dan, who's now tied up, that this is the ultimate prank, and he is also sacrificing the children in the Festival of Samhain, and he places the skull mask on Dan and turns on the TV. And even though the robots are supposed to be watching Dan's lumpy ass get turned into vermin, they are not very good robots, and he manages to get away.
Let's talk about how he gets away. First of all,
he does
he's
some
like
Mission Impossible
5 feet
shit.
away from the TV, but he's able to kick the screen.
Yeah.
And somehow,
he like
a
hops the
perfect
chair
shard
over.
of glass lands into the palm of his hand, which is tied behind his back.
Which
And
is in front of him by the end of it. He's cutting the thing open, and it doesn't make a shitload of sense.
Then when he frees himself, he takes his mask off and just like throws it like he's like some fucking Gene Kelly maneuver. Like his,
whips
I'm
it up
throwing
there.
my top hat and it's gonna land on
He
the
fucking
hall
does
tree.
like a 3-inch punch from Kill Bill by flicking this mask off from his crotch to the very high corner of the room.
And it lands on the camp.
Perfectly.
Yes. And so, skulking around... Oh, and then he jumps into the ventilation.
And then
Yeah,
uses
he
the
tries to open the
straps
door,
to unscrew the
And he
bolts that
can't
are
get
holding
in,
the
so, yeah,
fucking vent
he
grate.
uses like the strap buckle, and he undoes the stuff on the vents, and of course the villain is none the wiser for what must have taken like 20 minutes
Well,
to do.
because like a scientist saw it on the monitor, and he's like, "Oh, this doesn't look like the regular programming." And tried to bug Cochran, but Cochran was on the phone, like, "You want to buy how many shares?"
yeah,
Cochran's like, and be sure to have your children watch at 9 o'clock. And meanwhile, the robot's like, excuse me, sir.
because right before he puts through Armageddon, he's really concerned about his stockholders. Because it's not like Silver Shamrock stock's not going to take a dive for murdering children.
Yeah, the
The
entire
best part, though, is like they show like the monitor when the robots finally enter the room where he's escaped. They're standing there, and the one
hold
guy
up
picks
the
up
mask.
he picks up the mask and he holds it to the monitor, and the other guy reaches down and picks up the screen from the ventilation shaft
they see him on the surveillance feed
and
too.
holds it up. Huh? Like, what do I do with this?
This is puzzle game.
My dog does.
Cardbot number 1 confused.
My dogs do similar things when they can't get to a toy that's under the couch. They just stare at me like idiots.
Keep in mind, these are robots that can talk, drive,
They
monitor,
can't talk.
monitor
They don't talk.
computers. They do
They
talk
can
a little bit.
they can
do
carry
talk a
out
little bit.
complex assassination missions.
Yes.
They're sex bots.
They're-
I was
they're
programmed for love.
That's why they drilled that poor lady. Yeah.
So, skulking around in the factory, Dan finds hundreds of unshipped boxes of masks, and then he calls his wife. And this
Yeah,
makes
that's the best thing he could do.
which makes even less sense to the fact that they have hundreds of boxes of unshipped masks. As we talked about earlier. This seems like a poorly thought out
The
plan.
resale value on those is poor. I don't think there's going to be a second shipment. No.
I said in my notes, this makes no sense. Are these for next year?
And especially when you
Never
consider
gonna cause us a problem again next year, kids.
Especially
Please
when you
tune in.
consider the effect that the masks have when they play the final commercial.
Right.
It's like, did they not foresee this happening? That's
Yeah.
the end of the movie.
He's still
That's,
convinced he'll have shares once his entire market has been fucking murdered.
And
it's like it's the equivalent of like storing like a bunch of like fireworks in your match factory.
And Dan finds Ellie, and he helps her escape. And they sneak around the command center of where the Stonehenge block
Yeah,
is and
like-
everything.
Scooby-Doo style behind a rack of masks.
They take a racket mask and they move it
Oh,
with
yeah,
them
they're
as
like
they
moving.
walk.
And it's funny because the squeaking wheels go. And so Dan starts pressing buttons on the computer and then climbs up into the rafters.
He has no fucking idea what he's doing.
Okay, let's describe this computer. This thing looks like this is like it could just be like a prop from Star Trek.
It like
Yes.
stores memory in vacuum tubes.
And there's
Yeah.
nothing's labeled, and he just randomly pushes some buttons in a sequence that somehow does exactly what he wants to do.
He's trying to control alt delete that shit.
This is from like Lost in Space style community technology. I mean, this is fucking ancient looking piece of shit computers.
And so he then climbs up into the rafters and dumps a box of the microchips onto the Shambots.
Because he causes the commercial to air.
And causes the commercial to air, and then this fries all
They
the
don't
robots.
shoot lasers, they just spark and suddenly the robots all die.
They all just follow.
Because the robots and the ancient magic from Stonehenge doesn't affect the non-organic flesh.
The same way?
You
'Cause
can't
it
make
seemed to shut them
vermin from
down.
robots.
But what I don't understand is, how is this not going to happen anyways? They're surrounded by fucking boxes of this shit.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Cochran also nods up at what's his face?
He even claps. He's like,
what's
"I
his
applaud
mustache?
you,
And
sir."
he just kind of gives
Slow
us.
clap.
He kind of just gives us touche. Well,
Well
played,
played.
good sir.
Well
And then
played.
suddenly a ring of light forms around the computers for no reason I can understand. Shoots a laser through Cochrane into the
And he turns into
Stonehenge stone.
Dr. Manhattan
Yes,
before he
he's-
explodes.
He looks like he's from the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. All of a sudden,
So this
turns
causes
Chucky and
the
melts.
Stonehenge piece to turn Cochrane into a pillar of blue cheese, Lot's wife style, and then explode.
So dumb.
And so, driving away, Dan asks Ellie if she's all right, but she's now a fembot. And he drives into a tree and then bludgeons her with the tire iron. And there are several, is she really dead? Because then, one of her arms grabs him, and then he kicks that off.
How did she lose her
arm.
first arm? I don't even get
During the
that.
car
Doesn't it
crash-
car crash?
They crash and it rips off because she was clutching his
Yeah,
throat.
so when she attacks him after he stumbles out of the car, she only has one arm, and there's that wire that's twitching out of her socket.
Yeah, and then he fights her. Then he beats her to death with a tire iron.
Yes.
She kind of clutches at his leg, and she dies. And he goes back in the car, and he's attacked by the cut off arm.
And we also see that she has a sweet robot ass.
She's fully functional.
Yes. And so Dan checks his watch and sees that do you think that her pussy juice is that orange shit?
Oh, God.
What did he think when he pulled out? Oh my god! Yeast infection!
So
You
Dan
should get treatment, honey.
Oh, butterscotch.
I thought it smelled like bread.
said apricot preserves. Dan checks his watch and see there are still 20 minutes before the commercial airs. And he manages to get to a service station.
The same
same
service
one.
station.
The same one.
With
Yep.
Mr. Chin.
And he convinces someone, that's a little racist, it's a black dude.
Sorry, Mr.
Craig kept
Dick.
saying he looks like the black version of Bruce Campbell.
Chin is massive.
Oh, I thought you meant Chin's in a Chinese phone book.
No.
Guy with a big chin, you racist bastard.
And they convince. So he gets on the phone to a service station, and he excuse me. He convinces two of the channels to take to not play the commercial.
Yeah,
His
how
hysterical
exactly?
screaming is enough to tell them to just
Yes.
cut their regular
People are
program.
gonna die.
He's obviously-
Don't show the Pampers ad.
He's obviously talking to the person at the call center who does the phone switchboard. They would have the power to suddenly turn off the
operator.
If you play that Barbie Dream House commercial, people are going to lose their lives.
Now, to be fair, I think everybody at that station was like, okay, any excuse to stop us from going.
They're like, oh, fuck yeah, we didn't want to hear it again.
Finally, the excuse we were waiting for.
We were told it was a terrorist activity.
Actually, my hand was on the plug when you called.
Yeah, why didn't you just tell him he'll bomb a hospital or something if they don't stop playing it?
That's what he said. Then he's like, tell him it's a bomb or something like that. It's like, what the fuck is a bomb have to do with a television commercial?
So he manages to convince two of the channels to take it off the air, but the third continues to
Yeah,
play.
like
And
the
he doesn't
kids,
even
the
stop
kids,
the little kids who
the
came
kids
in.
drive up in a truck and come and ask the fucking service attendant for fucking
Once
candy.
again, our theory of where the best candy on Halloween is.
Yeah.
And then one of the kids
Junkyards,
just
rock formations, and
skips
gas
over-
stations in the middle of
skips over
nowhere.
to the guy's TV.
Yeah, asshole. The little shit just fucking changes the
Turns
channel.
it on, yeah, and then changes it every time the channel goes off.
Well, this led me to one question. Remember when there were only 3 TV channels?
No,
That's pretty old.
I'm old, but I'm not that old.
And so
There were at
Dan-
least 12 when I was a kid.
So Dan screams into the phone, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!" And the credits
crying.
roll.
Yeah, he doesn't
it's
bother to
dark.
rip the mask off the children.
Yeah.
One
Or
foot in
turn
front
off
of
the
him.
TV. or
Yes.
anything.
I guess he was trying to save the world, not just those brats.
Well, he was going fishing later, and he needed some bait.
So, would you guys watch this movie
Rattlesnake.
again?
No.
I've seen this movie. This is probably the third time.
I've
and
probably seen this 7 or 8 times.
I enjoy it.
I do too. It's so stupid.
It's so bad.
Word. It was so dumb.
It's kind of, I don't know. It's nostalgic for me.
It's goofy. It's got
Well-
Dan. Who's
Okay.
pretty
It's
cool.
got titty sucking.
See, the thing is,
It has actual titty sucking.
Paul and Gabe really like really shitty movies way more than I do, or I'm assuming even
Yeah.
Joel does. Joel likes them more than me, but even he's not at the level of rancid
I'm not like, I
stupidity
would
that
own
these two
this.
are.
I would totally own this. I would go VHS scavenging with Paul
I
and
actually
Craig and
intended.
own
I
this.
intended to buy this for the podcast, but I just never got around to it. Getting sick.
Instead, he got it from the library and will never return it.
I have it on
Okay,
VHS.
when I got this from the library, I bring it over here. We open it up, and it's got like this jizz stain.
And the funny thing is, the last
Gabe
person
must
who
have
got it
checked
from
it
the
out
library
last
was
time.
Gabe. Yeah, exactly.
It had that like orange custard stuff from the innards.
Yes.
Wow, the same person has checked this video out 8 times in a row. Gabe, yeah, that's it.
He's modified
It's that
his
time
DVD,
of the week.
He's modified his DVD player so it has a hole in it. So when he puts it on his dick and sticks it in there, it just rotates around and gets him off.
Well, no, his dick is small enough that he can just fit
Goes
the
right
disc
through.
right
Yeah,
on it.
right through
Right
there.
through.
He just spins the disc on his dick.
It's like a finely pressed piece of paper going in there.
So I do like this movie, and it was going to be our Halloween episode. Although this is December 5th, December 6th.
A little late. We
That
live
we're recording.
underground.
I think
This
Sorry.
is our Thanksgiving movie. We just decided to go with a Halloween one.
Yeah,
Yes.
we live
I think the
underground.
reason-
Sorry. What president is it?
The reason I like this movie is because it has so much sci-fi in it.
Yeah, it does. And it's gruesome. I mean, the gore in it is cool looking. The kid's face like exploding or whatever.
Oh, I love that
happens.
scene. That's
it doesn't
fantastic.
explode. It just like deteriorates.
Yeah, it
It's
just
like the
melts.
mask kind of merges with his face.
Yes, it's disturbing. And those giant fucking Jerusalem cockroaches or whatever the fuck they are. flying
Yeah.
Out of his.
Those things are
mouth.
the
Ants,
worst.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I do like this movie quite a bit. I'm glad we watched it, even if you guys aren't. So any STDs? Any Schlock Talk do's or don'ts, you guys?
I want to say a due to the movie, not the band, for Creed was actually really fucking good. It's very formulaic to the Rocky thing. I mean,
Sure.
But all in all, it was just really well done. And Sylvester Stallone was an old guy on the edge of death, which is always a plus.
So it was really good. So obviously Sly didn't write it.
No, he didn't write it. I checked it out at the end. The screenplay was by 2 other people.
That's bullshit because the Expendables are the fucking pinnacle of box opera. Not box opera. Box office Hollywood writing.
Box opera.
You've created a new genre.
It's where homeless people sing in their boxes and great live.
It always ends with them fucking each other, but
Give
does have
me
a-
$5. I need to buy some beer.
So he does have a writing credit. Sylvester does for the characters, but yeah, the screenplay was by Ryan Coogler and Aaron Covington.
But honestly, really, really good movie. Really good movie.
I saw Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, was it good?
wow.
I liked it. It's not a perfect film. It moves really slow. It's like it really is a western.
Yeah.
Like it has the pace and style of a western, and then like the last 20 minutes, just fucking crazy shit happens.
All right, don't spoil it. So I have a don't. I did not like Goodnight Mommy. This is the one with the trailer. With
I've watched that trailer countless times.
the twin boys that are like 10 years old, and then their mom has like these weird bandages all over her face. And
Okay, no
I
spoilers.
will not spoil anything. Did not like it.
It's kind of always hard to tell when you like something and don't like something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's like, America, you will love this movie that Gabe hates. Paul, maybe.
well, no, I've read a lot of reviews for this film, but I've avoided spoilers. But it's very mixed, so
Yeah.
I still
wasn't
want to
crazy
see
about
it because people either love it or hate it.
Kids were annoying. They were annoying, but that's all. That's all.
All right, anybody else?
I have a do. We stumbled upon this, and my buddy at work also recommended it, but it's on Netflix, and it's called With Bob and David. And if you ever remember the Mr. Show days back in the 90s with Bob and David, I actually fucking love these 4 episodes that are on Netflix. I'm actually watching all of the Mr. Shows right now on YouTube. It's just fucking amazing. Like,
So Mr. Show is great, and I was hotly anticipating this, and I watched all 4 episodes. Technically, there's 5 because there's a behind-the-scenes thing. The night they came on, and fucking shit.
Oh, I thought they were pretty
terrible.
funny. Some of them were great.
Terrible.
I thought the first episode especially.
I had this conversation. My brothers both liked it too. I'm probably the one guy, but I thought it sucked. It was terrible.
They were hit or miss, but I thought when it was funny, it was really funny.
Yeah, I love Mr. Show. I bought every episode of Mr. Show on VHS in like 1998 off of eBay.
When I first met you, like that's one of the first things you gave me. You're like, Paul, you got to watch this, and you gave me this this VHS that you had recorded off of TV.
Right.
But it was a VHS that had been like used probably like 800 times. So there was like ghosts of like Captain Kangaroo and like Gilligan's Island. But
That's what made it better,
that's how I
right?
first saw Mr. Show, and it was kind of hard to watch it that way because it was like a copy of a copy 3,000 times.
And I used like the extended version,
Yeah.
So
like the 8-hour version.
Right.
Like I wouldn't get 8 hours out of this tape.
yes,
It's the
yes.
lowest possible quality you could manage.
But I did. I bought them. I think for $50 on eBay. I bought VHS recordings off of TV of the entire all 4 seasons of Mr. Show, which I still have.
Yeah.
And they sent me the Tenacious D shows with that as well, because Tenacious D.
That's
was,
right.
Yeah.
Because
That's right.
Jack Black
Season
kinda got
1,
his
Jack
start.
Black. That's where he got his
Like 6
foot in the door.
episodes.
Episode 2, I think. Yeah.
But he's on Mr. Show too. He's in and out as a character, an actor.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
on
Like a
Mr.
lot
Show.
of like these big comedy guys are there. Like Brian Posey. Looks like that was like maybe one of his first
He's
things
on there,
before he's
and
on
Paul
news radio.
Tompkins and
Yeah.
Did you get to Titanica yet?
No. I'm going through
fuck.
season 1 right now, and I saw a little bit of season 2, which is fucking great.
I will probably rewatch with
Yeah.
Bob and David. I love Bob Odenkirk especially, but I feel bad because I just fucking hated it. I was like, oh wow, I'm not laughing at all. This is terrible.
Oh, you didn't laugh at all.
I
Wow.
really had a hard time with it. Maybe I was in a shitty mood. I don't know.
Yeah, I just got in an argument with my wife, and I punched her. Yeah, it's not a good time to watch.
I
show.
thought he had started engaging in the 37 F's philosophy. And so,
It's changed my life.
Fist fighting the fair sex was.
You see, the
not
reason
good.
the 37F.
not in there. Not in there. I don't advocate.
The
that.
reason the 37F.
Floating with falafels.
Okay.
The reason the 37F, actually the 37F rule came to Gabe when he had a near-death experience. He was choking himself out with a rope when he was
Yes.
masturbating in the closet.
Yes.
Hey, that's how
With
David
the
Carradine-
Halloween 3 disc. With the Halloween 3 disc.
Listening to In Excess.
Yes.
He was.
Who has died of that?
David Carradine, man, Kung Fu.
David Carradine, the guy from NXS. I know there have been a few others.
Oh yeah.
Like people that were not. Like,
That's how I'm going out. Fuck robots.
Yeah.
Set yourself,
my death
cover yourself in
interesting.
flammable cheese, set yourself on fire, and autoerotic asphyxiation until you're done.
I am fondue.
So anything else, you guys? So we're not fully decided. I don't know what we're going to do for our movie yet. We'll see. I don't know what the next movie is going to be.
Ooh. Well, after the movie ended today, I don't know. Joel got like a wild hair up his ass, and he's like, "Have you seen Terror Vision?"
It's so fucking
And he like
great.
puts this movie on, which I guess I've heard of this film, but I've never seen it. And we watched like the first 15 minutes. And it's fucking fantastic.
It's like an R-rated, like Beetlejuice or Labyrinth or something.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, a
Pee-wee's
comedy.
Playhouse
Yeah,
kind
It
of
starts
vibe
off,
to
and
it.
you've got Kang from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sitting
Yes.
around there, this giant brain tentacle
Krang,
thing.
yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's just fucking great. It's just like this perfect, like, surreal camp slapstick fucking horror, whatever it is.
I know we normally don't do comedies that are intentionally funny, but
And I watched
It'd be
this
fun to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that would be intentionally funny goes against the Gabe philosophy.
and had to
be painfully crap
Right, but we were
instead.
going to do...
but it's expletive enough. It's like
wait,
haven't
this
we
isn't
seen
like
any,
sandpapering your dick.
it's right on the border of like Ilsa.
I do not feel as though you guys are being horribly tortured.
If Gabe is going to drive all the way out here, he wants to make it for the reason of his
I have to fucking
enjoyment or
sweat from
pain.
all the fucking erotic surges going through my body watching you guys watch
Erotic
this.
surges, which is a pretty fucking sweet man.
Mustache man ass.
Hey, that's a good drink. They brought that back. You can only get it on eBay. Erotic Surge.
Erotic surge.
I bottle it in my house.
That is awesome. All right, well, I think that's it then for Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And we just passed exactly 1 hour.
Wow,
That worked out perfectly.
What was
Still waiting for the witches to appear.
It was Reanimator's right around an hour, too.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.